It is day 8 of Whocember, and we are at what is quite possibly my favorite Christmas story for Doctor Who. This is the Chimes of Midnight, the second story in season 2 of the 8th Doctor on Big Finish. Chimes of Midnight. This was released in February, so it is weird. The story was written by Rob Sherman, who you may know him. He wrote a little story called Dalek for New Who. He has also written The Holy Terror, Jubilee. Just a few okay nothing stories. Chimes of Midnight. This story sees the 8th Doctor and Charlie land in like the downstairs, like kind of like a Downton Abbey type thing. They land in the servant's place downstairs, and things are not what they seem, because people die, and then once the chimes hit midnight, everything resets and we're back. So people who have died are now back alive, having seemingly not, remembered their death. This is a very timey-wimey episode, and now they gotta figure out what is going on. Now, this story is not one you can really just jump into, which is a shame, as it's very good. This story is heavily drenched in the arc that was going on at the time. So there is a prerequisite reading. I would recommend listening to Storm Warning, which is the very first episode, the very first story, with the 8th Doctor and Charlie. That's where they meet, and that's where this whole arc starts to kick off. That's really all you need, as the Chimes of Midnight does reference it quite a bit. So, with that, you can very much listen to the Chimes of Midnight, and you'll be intrigued. This is a fantastic audio. At this point, I was, very much enjoying my time with the 8th Doctor. I had finished the first season, and I had come off of Invaders of Mars, the season premiere, and I was like, wow, I'm really liking this. And then Chimes of Midnight, which I had heard people say, see nothing but praise about. And I was going, well, I this has been hyped for a lot. Hopefully it lives up to it. And boy, did it, and more. This is yearly Christmas listening, not viewing. Christmas listening for me, and it might just be my favorite Doctor Who Christmas story. That is a tough one. We'll get to another one later on in Whocember, which it might be my favorite, but we'll see. There's another contender there. But this story is fantastic. It is. The way that the Doctor has to work out what's happening and try and outsmart and outwit the servants, the way the servants act and they kind of go off. You can start to pick up little things here and there that give it away that something's wrong here, or this person might die next, or little hints of what is causing this, as well. There is, of course, the death that kicks everything off, which is the death of Edith, the scullery maid. And every chime, she dies a different way, which is also a bit of a hint of what's going on. I won't say more than that. The cliffhanger to episode 3, I believe, part 3, is fantastic. And this is just a great story, man. I love how they incorporate the chimes into the soundtrack. That's great. Quite dark story, of course. This was Big Finish before the show came back. And it's Robert Sherman in general. It's just pretty dark. But this is a fantastic story. I love it so much. Rating it, it's a 10 out of 10, man. I rarely give things a 10 out of 10, but this is a 10 out of 10. It's just perfect. It's a perfect story. It has everything. It gives you questions, you get answers to those questions, and they're satisfactory. So this isn't a story that just gives questions and then they leave the thread loose. No, everything's tied up in a nice bow at the end, and it's a nice Christmas story. So, overall, like I said, 10 out of 10, Chimes of Midnight. It is fantastic. You can pick it up on the Big Finish website. If you've listened to it, what do you think? If you haven't, highly recommend. It is worth the price. I believe for us, people not in the UK, it's like $5. So, it's worth it. It's really worth it. But anyway, that's going to do it. I hope you all enjoyed my review, and I will see you all next time for the next episode of Whocember.